So I guess you're here right now because you're wondering if Wonder Woman was any good. And as we've just come back from a screening, we found out that after 3 films, they've got it right this time.
Okay, let's cut to the chase. Wonder Woman was simply wonderful, and we're going to give you the goddamn best YouTube review there is of it.
Stop right there. I'm in.
Wonder.
So Wonder Woman is the 3rd film in the DC Expanded Universe, which is kind of their collection of films for those of you guys that don't know. And basically we had Man of Steel, then we had Batman vs Superman, then we had Suicide Squad. And for us, they kind of each progressively got worse. Now with Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins, who's the director of Monster, who basically directed Charlize Theron to an Oscar in that film, has taken the reins here, and she's made a really good movie. Not just a good superhero movie, but a good movie, and it's had really great reviews so far. So for us at least, we get to relax as critics and we don't have to worry about stepping on people's toes and people getting worked up and going,
Batman vs Superman was the best film ever! Suicide Squad is flawless! There's nothing wrong with it!
What's wrong
Are you being paid out by Marvel? This movie cannot be bad because it's bad. It has to be because you're getting paid to say it's bad.
And that's really exciting for us because we just get to relax and talk about what is essentially a really not just enjoyable movie, but it's actually a really well put together film.
Yeah, instead we can just sit back in our chairs and say Wonder Woman was wonderful.
We're gonna make that joke quite often. I think it's gonna get tired real quick.
So Wonder Woman stars Gal Gadot in the lead role, and alongside her we also have Chris Pine, Robin Wright, Danny Huston, David Thewlis. It's quite the stellar cast. But what is the film about?
So to break it down really basically, because you want to know as little about this film as you can before going in, because it's much more enjoyable that way. Our main character, Wonder Woman, Diana, she is an Amazonian princess. The Amazonians are kind of this civilization of like all women warriors created by the gods. And basically our story kind of kicks off when this pilot, played by Chris Pine, kind of crash lands in this civilization which has been secluded from the world. They find out that World War I's going on outside of their kind of secluded utopia, and Diana decides, hey, I want to go out and try to do my part to end the war, to end all wars. And that's kind of how our story kicks off. It kind of sounds really whack when you put it down on paper like that. But the thing is, this story kind of really works.
Well, that's neat.
Well, the one thing everyone wants to know is how good is Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, because we actually finally get a full look at her as Wonder Woman.
She's the main event here. You're coming for a Wonder Woman film. It's important that she kind of delivers.
And it's important to know that Gal Gadot was literally about to quit acting before she actually got offered the role of Wonder Woman. So we have to take that into consideration, yes. And you know, she does have a modeling background. She doesn't come from acting. But all things considered, she delivers a wonderful
performance.
I was going to say wonderful Wonder Woman.
What?
Huh? Yes, a wonderful Wonder Woman. And the thing is, there's some massive positives and negatives here. And I'll hit the positives first, because the thing is, what she delivers is Gal Gadot is stunning, right? And she brings that stunning aspect
You're like
to Wonder
magnetized
Woman
instantly.
Exactly, and she will literally seduce any males watching her on screen, and it's incredible. She seduces Chris Pine instantly, and she's magnetic and she carries a weight. All women are going to respect her and love the power that she has on screen. And the best part about her is young girls are going to adore her. They're going to admire her, and they're going to aspire to be like her, just like we were when we were kids and we watched like the original Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man was our thing when we were young.
And we're like, oh my god, I want to be
Spider-Man.
for the
I want to be
rooftops.
Spider-Man, and she does that, and that's really important.
And it's so important for this film to have that. Now, negatives-wise, the thing is with Gal Gadot, because she isn't such an experienced actor, she does struggle in her really heavy emotional scenes when she needs to experience loss or grief. She gets there at times and at points, and she can tear up, that's fine. But it's the scene after where she's really meant to be still carrying that emotion. She kind of just forgets it.
We're on to the next thing.
And it's okay, but I mean, it just, you know, hopefully in time she can learn.
We've started focusing on her character first, and I think that's what this film was the most focused on, and this is why it's so surprising for me. Obviously, reviews were coming out just before we saw the film. We knew it was going to be good, which was really exciting to start off with. But what really stunned me about this movie, and has impressed me so much more than so many superhero films that have come before it. I'm going to put Logan to the side here because Logan's a different kind of animal altogether. The Wolverine is an animal, Logan is a man.
Holy fuck.
But this film here really took the time to build character, and I cannot understate just how important that is, because I haven't seen it done this well in a superhero film for a very long time. Yes, it's an origin story. So yes, it has to go through and do the basic stuff. We see her growing up, we find out who she is, who she wants to be. And that's what's really important here, because there's nothing being thrust on her. It's her going out and saying, I want to go and participate in the world. I want to do my part. And because so much time is spent focusing on her, yes, that first 30 minutes is like, there's a lot wrong with it. It's not that exciting, and a lot of people are going to switch off. But that groundwork is so essential, because as the film progresses into that second act and things get really interesting, we start to see things we haven't really seen before in a superhero film, that groundwork just becomes so important.
It's so important because the fact that like they're going into the Great War, we leave like an Amazonian paradise and we go into World War I, which is one of, it's shit, you know? It's over 25 million people died, more than that. And you know, we go straight into that era, so we need that groundwork to start off.
And it's not just Diana who's set up that way. Chris Pine, Steve Trevor, and basically all the other characters that kind of surround their kind of group that goes into World War I together, they all have like distinct motivations, they all have distinct character, they all have distinct things that they're battling with, which is why we're able to root for them. It's a thing that the previous DC films haven't really focused on that much. Yes, Superman did kind of have that arc, and that was done well, but the other characters not so much. It's kind of characters doing things in service for building a blockbuster moment. Here, there's not that many action scenes. There's not that much that's really kind of over the top and like, I guess like gargantuan kind of entertainment like that. It's kind of just so focused on building people, on building these iconic characters, and that's just why it works.
And I've got to say, a shout out to Chris Pine. You're simply the best. Because the thing is here, Chris Pine delivers a flawless performance.
Yeah.
He carries this film, and at times when he's first introduced, I was like, am I watching a Steve Trevor film or am I watching Wonder Woman? Because he is such an incredible actor and he is already magnetic on screen. He is so perfect to be introduced and juxtaposed with this Amazonian world. Because all of a sudden we've got this human along with almost an alien, in a way. And we just get like, the way he kind of interprets information and asks the questions we want to ask as an audience, like, so kind of like, what do you do with guys? What do you know about sex? What do you know about this? He's not awkward about it. It's fun and it's funny.
And that's where so much of the character gets built from. This film really is at its best when the people are just talking and trying to understand each other. This film is more of a drama than it is an action film, and that's really why it works. And if we're going on, let's just progress like straight into like the kind of technical side of things. The visuals here are really excellent. I will say that the visual effects are kind of a letdown. I think that's more to do with, I guess, Warner Brothers in the past, with just not just their DC movies, but a lot of their movies. You look at like Tarzan and stuff as well. Movies like that where the visual effects aren't really distributed correctly. This movie has a really big third act. It didn't need to be that big. You can see that Patty Jenkins was kind of trying to work around how big I think the studio wanted that last act to be, because at the start the film could have used more, like the VFX should have been better in the start of the film, and I think the budget was kind of pushed to the end where it didn't really need as much work.
And it's kind of unfortunate because that's going to be the biggest negative for me walking out of this film, is as great as the VFX are, when they are bad, they're really quite bad. And in 2017 we can be a bit more forgiving, but in 20 years time, how forgiving will we be, and how much will these VFX age and let down scenes as well?
Cinematography here is, it's kind of only just really hit me now, but it's probably the best, again, Logan aside, that I've seen in a superhero movie ever, really, or like since Nolan stuff at least. Let's just put those, the modern superhero age, this is probably the best looking one we've had. The colors pop, it's really exciting, there's a lot of great visual ideas. Yes, the slow-mo is done just to the point where if there'd been too much more, it probably would have been too much, because the action was its best when it was moving fast. But that being said, it was a really cool visual idea and it really worked. The sound design here was fantastic, and the soundtrack was very, very impressive, I thought. Not hyper memorable after walking out of it, but it's very, very listenable.
And the best thing about it is they do reuse the Wonder Woman theme to great effect, because you know it already.
It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb like it did in BVS. It's very, very built into it.
You know it, and you're kind of waiting for it. You're wondering when it's going to happen. When it does happen, oh my god. But you're waiting for this theme to kick in, and when it does, it's in a really sweet slow motion action scene, and it's waiting for it. Yes, superhero theme!
And the fact that everything in this movie is again filtered back through character and themes and strong ideas and exploring the world of this film, that is what makes it so great. As we've seen in the trailers, there's this scene of her walking out onto this battlefield, just kind of busting through, walking out, doing her thing. you know that scene's about to happen before it happens, and the moment, it was about a minute before it happened, and I was like, holy shit, Patty Jenkins and the writers and everyone involved has done the work to make this scene amazing. And when it happened, it was truly one of the best superhero film moments I have ever seen. It really, really worked for me because the work there to make us go, wow, in that one moment was there. They weren't just throwing effects at us and going, here's this moment, here's this cool thing, here's this cool thing. All those little moments stacked together to build a big one, and that is so important that they could pull that off.
It was kind of the whole 30-minute section, to be honest. It was both before that event and also afterwards as well. And it was definitely my favorite part of the film walking out, is Wonder Woman in World War I, looking on humanity and seeing this is what we're doing to ourselves. It's like, this is not Germans versus the rest of us. This is not this versus that. It's just humans versus humans. It's, you know, puppets just, you know, moving soldiers and letting them die. And that was really sad. And they nailed that. And they really got it right. I loved it.
And look, that's not to say this movie still, as I've said, has had problems. The writing in some points was a little bit like not horrendous, but just not excellent writing in certain parts. When it does work, the comedy here just flows so well, as I've said, mostly thanks to Chris Pine. It just is a movie where most things came together to make something really good that I really enjoyed, and am also able to say, aside from enjoying it, it's also quite good. Like, on a technical level, this is the kind of film that you could sit down and kind of pick apart how well it did things after, and that's just great. And can we just say, because we have to, who loves critics now that we are saying a superhero film is great? Do we work for you when we're saying a superhero film's good?
Yeah, we're not holding back anymore, guys. Like, the thing is, this is the truth. This is how we feel about this film. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Suicide Squad was trash, but this film is really good, and you should make the time to go and see it. Yes, there's a few negatives, and for me, the ending was a little bit over the top, but I still enjoyed it. It had its focus, and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was incredible, and it is so great to see a female superhero-led film, and to have a film like this for young girls to look up and to aspire to be someone like this when we've had it for so long as males. And my God, what a time at the cinemas. Make sure you go checking it out. I'm giving this one a 7.8.
And for me, this movie is not just a good superhero movie. This is an actual good movie that does so much stuff that blockbusters these days are forgetting, and I'm so impressed by it right now. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 because I can't deny that there's flaws. I think it's a movie that has really high highs and just average lows. I don't think the lows will get much lower, but I think the highs could get higher. This movie has so much good about it. Who knows, if I was to review it in a year's time, I might be saying it's better, but for now, I'm really happy giving it an 8 out of 10. So that was our review of Wonder Woman. You guys have no idea how relaxing it is for us just to be able to say that a DC film was good without knowing. I mean, we're probably still going to cover a bit of hate, but it's just satisfying to say that a DC movie was genuinely good, and we genuinely feel that way about it. We won't be doing a spoiler review because I think we've kind of covered everything here. You guys get that we dig it. It's a movie, if someone asked, I would go and watch it again. Anyway, have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Did you like this video?
Of course you did.
Crave more banter.
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter @BreakingBanter.